If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Tuesday, November 27th, 2012. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Today's guest in the Finis Monitor is 2012 Olympian Clark Burckle, who's getting ready to race some of the world's best again next month at the Short Course World Championships. And Clark joins us now from Tucson. Hey Clark, good to see you. How are you?
Pretty good, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thanks. So what's been going on with you since we saw you in the 200 breast at the Olympics?
You know, a couple different things. I got back to Tucson. I came straight back to Tucson, and I actually got back to working out pretty immediately. I mean, I wasn't in the pool necessarily that much, but I was doing a lot of stuff outside the pool, which is fun to me. So that was a good way for me to find out, you know, where I was physically. And then since then, I've actually been working on what I'm going to do when I'm done swimming. So I've been kind of looking into graduate schools and studying for the GMAT, so that's where I am right now.
And what is the GMAT?
GMAT's the graduate admissions test for business school.
Very interesting. You got any particular career plan set up?
I don't have anything in particular. I mean, I have some things that I'm interested in, but beyond that, you know, I'm pretty new to this working thing. So it's mostly, you know, stuff that I just have found through my own independent studies.
Well, I know after Olympic trials you had said that you wanted to kind of start planning what you wanted to do post-swimming. And obviously the Olympics, I guess, it's kind of weird to say, the Olympics got in the way of those plans. So, you know, and now you're going to be swimming at the Short Course World Championships. Is that going to be your last meet, or are you going to continue swimming while you go through graduate school?
I'm looking to continue swimming. I mean, if I do start school, it won't be until fall of next year. And I'm definitely going to, you know, be really into it this summer, this spring. I want to see, you know, try to make the world's team for Barcelona, I think it is, and see what I can do, see if I can continue to improve. You know, one of the downfalls, I guess, to improving this late is that feeling that you're almost running out of time, because it's, you know, most people by this point have established themselves either as a swimmer or someone that's going to move on. And, you know, I'm just kind of figuring out what my potential is. I matured pretty late, and I got better, you know, later in my career. I didn't really start swimming breaststroke till I got out here at Arizona. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to keep swimming. Like, I have no reason to quit. And every day, like, I'm excited to go to the pool. I love going to practice still, and I love competing. I haven't grown tired of it at all. And it just is a matter of whether or not I can balance my time efficiently enough to stay in the pool and stay in school. So you know, if it comes down to hurting my schoolwork, then I'll probably have to put that on the front as far as what I'm focusing on.
Well, you weren't the only late bloomer at the Olympics. Actually, Scott Welch, who was swam the 200 breast with you, very late bloomer. I mean, he was past his college seasons too. So did you two kind of share in that you know, everybody else had been kind of swimming and been doing very well for years, and you guys are just finally breaking through?
A little bit. I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting as far as, you know, the two 200 breaststrokers. We were on like a bit of a similar path. I mean, both of us started out as non-breaststroke specialists, you know, doing some IM, some distance freestyle, just some different events, you know, I mean, which I think is really cool as far as when I look at my background. A lot of people think of me as just a breaststroker, but there's a lot more to it. And I think it helped the both of us in an event that got quite a bit faster, you know, have good endurance and have that good background training, because it developed so much, especially this year. I mean, it took a huge leap forward. So that was cool for, you know, that was cool for Scott and me to be a part of that. And he's an awesome guy, and I like the way that he trains too. You know, I see some similarities in the two, and I think he's on the same path as me. He wants to keep swimming, just realizing his potential, and, you know, he can continue to improve.
Well, this was definitely a really big year for you. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last international trip you were on was World University Games, and you kind of leapfrog over all the other ones right to the Olympics.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was talking to my friend Jean Bassan, whom I call Jason, because everyone calls him Gene, so he just decided to change his name. But anyways, I was like, you know, always telling him, I was like, man, like, it's so cool you guys get to go to all these meets growing up. You know, being, I guess, you know, a foreigner, you have a little bit more of a clear-cut path to go into these competitions. You know, he's been going to world champs and Olympics and since like 2005, and I was like, it makes me sad to think about going through my whole career and only experiencing world U's. And this was like right before I went to Indy Grand Prix and went 209, and we were laughing about it. He was like, man, you were saying that you probably will never get to go to these meets, you'll never have a chance, and whether or not that makes you a good swimmer, and now you're at the Olympic Games, you know, like the biggest of the big. And I was just kind of like looking back on it, it's a pretty amazing path, but something that I always knew that I could do, but it was just like a matter of time, you know, and whether or not time would run out and whether or not I'd be mature enough at trials to actually get through and, you know, be in the top two. But it's been a pretty miraculous journey for me. I mean, you talked to me a year ago and I would have told you were crazy.
And you know, some people thought that you and Scott probably didn't have the pedigree, the background, what it would take to get into that 200 breast final, and there you guys were swimming in that 200 breast final. What was that experience like for you guys?
Well, I knew going into it, I knew it was going to be fast, and I saw the heats and the semis and the finals of the 100, and I mean, that was just amazing too. And so I was like, well, the breaststrokes are clearly some of the fastest events here at this meet. So I was like, there's no screwing around. You know, I'm not going to have an opportunity in prelims to really just sit back and rest on the fact that, hey, I'm an Olympian, I should be able to just cruise through. I'm from America. You know, that wasn't what I was thinking. You know, I was like, each race for me there was like, I needed to go best time. I needed to make it through to the next level. So like, comes to finals, you know, I was in that first semi and I just knew that I needed to place in the top 3 in my heat because the second semi was stacked. And that was pretty nerve-wracking for me. And then come the day of the final, like, I was just so happy to be a part of the final. You know, it was hard for me to really focus on anything but just trying to race. And, you know, I was only about a second outside of a medal, which to me was pretty amazing coming all that way in the past year. But it still would have been awesome to have won one, or, you know, to be that close in such a fast race.
Outside of swimming in the final, what would you say was the most memorable thing for you at the Olympics?
Most memorable thing, I mean, different categories, you know, like I just love the atmosphere at those meets. Being a part of Team USA obviously is like a huge honor. Just when you walk on the pool deck, I mean, it's kind of all eyes on us, which is, you know, that's a special feeling. I'd say, you know, I just love the way that it caters towards the athletes. I mean, with, you know, the dining hall, you know, the training rooms, just the constant attention from trainers, you know, all of the gear, just everything you could possibly imagine. Being in the dorms with like 7 guys that I just think are awesome, you know, sharing those experiences, just being surrounded by excellence, you know, having the practice area that, I forget the name of the place, but I mean, it had like 4 pools, and just being able to go there, and they had a whole area for like dry land and stretching out, and just like, it's like perfectly condones physical excellence, you know, like being the best athlete you can be. You know, you have every single possible opportunity there at the Olympic Games, and that was, to me, that's really special because I think that's very important.
Right. Now, you're going to be swimming this week at U.S. Nationals, and as I said, you're going to be swimming at Short Course World. So how does what you've learned from the Olympics carry over into this season?
Definitely just trying to ride the wave as far as, like, you know, staying confident, staying physically fit the way that I remember being before the Olympics, you know, doing things in my training that can correlate to what I did before, you know, going best times, stuff I did in training camp in France and Tennessee. Also just, I'm using Nationals as kind of a tune-up meet. You know, I doubt I'll shave. Like, if I shaved, it would just be to get a good feel and see what kind of stuff I could do. But, you know, I'm just actually looking to kind of compete with my teammates. I mean, we got some incredibly fast breaststrokers here, and so, I mean, it's not going to be, you know, a clear-cut path for me to go these fast times. I'm going to have to race and be honest with myself. So that's going to keep me in check, and hopefully come short course worlds, you know, I'm just extremely excited, and I'm in a good field and racing to my best potential, you know, just ready to go fast.
Yeah, that group of breaststrokers down there in Arizona, you can't have an off day. I mean, Kevin Cordes, Carl Mickelson, just to name a couple of people. I mean, what's it like for you every day to be in the pool with those guys?
It's pretty special. I mean, you know, I've seen Carl now like the past 4 years, and I remember seeing him as a freshman and just thinking like, wow, this guy's got some extraordinary talent. Like, he's just got to, you know, stay focused and get it together, and he's going to do some great things. And, you know, he's gone amazing times that he hasn't been able to win yet, or, you know, he's right there at the top. But breaststrokes has gotten so fast, as you know. I mean, last year, what, like 4 or 5 guys going 51 and 151. I mean, that's basically unheard of at the collegiate scene. So him and Cordes, I mean, every day bringing the heat. But I mean, there's other guys too. Like, we've got a new freshman, Andrew Severo. Austin Thompson trains with us some. Eric Solis does some sets. The way where I can distance myself is because I have that you know, background emphasis on endurance. So when we get into some longer sets, like, I can pretty much dominate those. And so I try to take advantage of that. But when we start going fast, it's a toss-up, man. It's like no one ever hands you anything in this group. And so, you know, the way I like to put it when I talk to people is like, there's rarely days where we're going above 30 seconds per 50, whether it's 200s, whether it's 50s. I mean, I'm making sure I get out there and I'm racing everything. And those guys just come along for the ride. I mean, Mickelson, that guy's just guns blazing all the time. He just goes hard. So, you know, I really enjoy it. Our breaststroke group's come such a long way from when I first got here, and it's special to me because, I mean, you're a breaststroker too, still are. Like, it's such an intricate stroke, and I find it to be a lot of fun, just like dissecting it and trying to figure out how we can get faster as a group, whether it's like pullouts, you know, stroke technique stuff, our dives, race strategy. So yeah, it's really worked out well recently.
Yeah, there's always something to think about in breaststroke. It's not, it definitely is one of the more, a thinking man stroke, I've always liked to say. You really have to think about it every single stroke.
Definitely.
And as you said, you like training, so this, you know, that kind of stuff really probably gets you excited.
For sure.
Well, Clark, we're looking forward to see how you do at Worlds, and even through just getting through Nationals. It's great to see that you're back. You're still in the sport, and congratulations on kind of making the next step forward in your post-swimming career. I'm sure that's a big relief for you.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thank you.
All right, Clark, we'll see you down the road.
All right, see you soon. Bye.
So that's Clark Burckle joining us in the Finesse Monitor today, and that's going to do it for today's Morning Swim Show. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.